Check. Check.
Yes. You can just check with the online class.
Okay, let's see. Okay, guys, can someone hear me there? Here, I think they can hear. That's right. Thank you. Before we begin the session, thank you for joining this evening. I know it's not easy, especially after a day full of hectic work, listening to your boring bosses and the demanding challenges, and then spending time to come across and listen to one more lecture onto it. You know, it needs a lot of stamina. For that reason, I would say a big round of applause for yourselves, please, for joining us. It is for your own self-development. It's not for anybody else. You are investing in yourself, and that is it about. How much are we able to invest in ourselves? What is our vision? And how are we progressing ourselves? So this particular session, it's going to be purely interactive. It's not like a one-way radio coming onto it. For that, you can get a YouTube and then you can watch it, but that's not the objective here. The objective here is to convey what exactly are the challenges with a practical adaptability. Adaptability is the key. Reading a book is good enough, but listening from a speaker how to adapt the technologies in the real world, that's the key here. So this would be an interactive session, and I would request you to raise hands who all can be interactive and who all are shy. Who all are going to be interactive? May I see the attendance? Interactive people. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that an 8? Should I count you as 8? Yeah, that's excellent. Please. The more interactive, the better it is. It cannot be only one person talking. And people who are shy, don't be shy. Just raise your hands and say that you are shy, you're introvert. There is no harm in that. Agreed. There is absolutely no harm. In fact, I was like that a few years back. So if you're shy, if you think that introverts are the people who do not speak, and you think they are not successful people in the procurement, you are wrong. You know, I raised these questions a few years back, and then a group of intellectuals, we were just having a brainstorming session. In that, how many of you know Kofi Annan? Kofi Annan is a very popular member, right? The UN negotiator. He is not an extrovert, he's an introvert, but he is a successful negotiator. So if you're shy, there's no harm in that. Be yourself. Whatever you do, you need to do your job properly. And how do you negotiate is the preparation for the negotiations for any of the, whether it's your personal life or the professional lives, tenders, conflict management, whatever it is, preparation is the key. So this session is going to be highly interactive, and I request you all to please cooperate. So when we said preparing for the challenges, especially we said supply chain management. When we say supply chain management, many of them think supply chain management is procurement. Do you think it's the same thing? How many of you think procurement is supply chain management? Both are different? Yes, sir. Excellent.
At the same time, procurement is different function.
Absolutely.
It's a part of.
Absolutely true. Spot on. Anybody else who agrees there? Procurement is only part of supply chain management, and procurement is not supply chain management. Out of all the elements, supply chain management is from cradle to the grave, from the requisition till it is consumed. So the entire process is supply chain management. In the supply chain management, you have procurement, one element, which the guys in procurement boast as if they are doing the whole world. No, they are not. Supply chain guys do the majority of the work. You know, procurement is the only upstream activity. It's immediate. Just one part, you take it, okay, you're sourcing it, you're negotiating it, you're fixing it. But after that, the contract management, performance management, payments, quality, logistics, all the downstream activities will come into the SCM itself. So there it adds into the way. So SCM and procurement, when we're looking at two different elements, procurement is part of SCM. So tomorrow, any procurement guy comes in front of you saying that, no, you know what I do? I said, you can tell them, yes, we know what we do. You are only a part of the complete supply chain process. That should be the clear element. Okay. So when you're looking at the challenges, let's proceed. Are we ready for the session?
Yes.
Thank God. I can still feel the energy here. The agenda for today. We are talking of the next generation. So what is the next generation? What is the evolution of next generation? Because this session is going to be definitely on a higher level. Then we're going to see what is a crucial role in modern business. In the business, there are a lot of digital platforms we speak of. We speak of sustainability. We speak of PPIs, CPIs, which I will discuss in detail throughout the session. Navigating key industry transformations. That's the fourth point. And fifth one is preparing professionals for success. You are the professionals. You are preparing yourself. And today it's the first step you have come here to see what exactly is required. What are the challenges? How are you going to address it? Yeah. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, but I need your full attention here. May I request you to please turn your phones onto the silent mode, please, to respect the other's time. If my phone rings, that must be my wife, okay? So then I have to run out. That's the only number which overrides the silent mode, nobody else. The next generation professionals, when we are calling it, some people call it next gen, and some of them call it beyond the next generation level. So let's look at what the next generation is. Next generation people should be adaptable, and they should be ready to go for lifelong learning. In the sense, technology is changing. When the technology changes, you need to be ready to grasp it, absorb it, and then you need to adapt it into your daily business. So that's one of the key areas, which is very, very crucial for the next generation professionals. Then you've got embracing technological advancements. Technological advancements. Some time back, RFQs used to be manual. Then we moved on to electronic typing, we did it. Then came the fax. Now we are doing it through the system. And next level is people are talking about paperless offices completely. So what is paperless offices? It's like complete transaction through the platform on the B2B platforms or B2C platforms. Then you have problem-solving skills. This is very, very important element. Problem-solving skills, when we're talking about it, it could be anywhere. It could be within the office. Join, please join chat. It could be in any of the environments. Skills that are necessary for you to mitigate the situation and then try to diffuse it. Diffuse it for an amicable solution. It cannot be like we are trying to dictate, saying, I am the procurement guy. I've seen people standing here saying, yes, I am from procurement, you're sales, just sit there, I'm going to talk to you. That attitude is not going to work. That attitude is absolutely wrong. It is not going to work at all. A supplier is your partner. Definitely, yes, you need to understand, you need to agree on the pricing element on that, which you agree on. There'll be disagreements and there'll be fights which happen, but at the same time, you should not take it to the level of a fight itself. Negotiations should be purely professional. You should keep it to that level. And then, yes, you need to solve the issues over there itself so that the relation continues. It is not one person-to-person relation. It is cop-to-cop relation. Tomorrow, you can be joining that organization. So that the things change here. So you need to be very, very cautious in that. The next one is important is data-driven decision-making abilities. This is the most spoken element. In the sense, people talk about the big data. People talk about machine learning. People talk about algorithms, which they support the buyer to conduct the negotiations. Earlier, whenever you have to do some negotiations, the background work, it used to take almost half a day or 1 day to prepare yourself for the negotiation to see that how that supplier was performing in the past, how many suppliers are there. If you have a history of record or anything, it's good. You need to go back and look into the history. It would take at least 1 week's time, depending on the size of the tender. Where you do not have the history record and all, then the challenge becomes even bigger because you don't know anything about that supplier. So you need to dig the details, you need to find out from the market, do a lot of things. But with the big data coming into the picture, you've got a lot of data-driven decision-making analysis. So the next gen people will be looking at these 4 elements here. Once you're thorough in these 4 elements, and if you're ready to be adaptable, then yes, there it starts. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, this is from one of a very famous movie, actually. Now, you can see here, one of the favorite movies, I can say, Leonardo DiCaprio and other gentlemen. How many of you have seen this movie? This is from a movie called Blood Diamond. Very interesting movie. And it rotates around the conflict diamonds. In today's world, where we speak about the ethics and other standards, conflict diamonds are not allowed. How do we address it in the latest scenario? Today we are here, we all are here in this room. There is a method to address it. Any suggestions? Any ideas? How do we address this particular element? Sorry? Collaboration, negotiations. Okay, more? There is one interesting word. The minute I say, you guys will say, ah, yes, I knew it, you'll say it.
Beyond boundaries.
Beyond boundaries. Okay, I like the word, beyond boundaries, yes. Any more? Face-to-face meetings. Excellent, sir. Any more? Teamwork. Yeah, of course, definitely. The team itself, they come out with the diamonds. Any more? Conflict resolution. That's a lovely word which I use it, which I use it in daily life in my office as well. Conflict resolution is very, very important. Any more from this side? We need to balance it. A lot of opinions are coming from the right side. So left side also should be coming up with some ideas or words. Business management. Yes, you're coming close. You're coming closer. But what is the latest in the business management, which gives you visibility? Resource management, yes. You're getting closer, actually. Closer. Okay, let me break it down. What do you feel if I say blockchain? How many of you know what the blockchain is? Blockchain, it captures everything from the origin until it is sold to the customer. So once it goes into a ledger, everything gets recorded on the blockchain. So blockchain technology addresses the issues we face here. So this was one of the risks. It can be mitigated by using the blockchain. And of course, yes, now we do speak about automations, Internet of Things. I use some abbreviations. IoT is Internet of Things here. No? So with the advent of technology coming across, the risk is coming down. This is one such example. There are more in the presentation of next 45 minutes. You'll see more of such things. But remember this word, blockchain. With the blockchain, conflict diamonds are going to an end. Because when it is mined, whether it was mined in Sierra Leone or some areas, we don't know where it is, but everything is being captured. And in case if it is coming from an area where it is conflict zone, people, they don't entertain it. But don't miss the chance. I'm not advocating the movie, but it's a good movie. Watch it. Of course, these are some dashboards where you get it. This is on your mobile and then it's on your PC. People are talking more on the KPIs and dashboards these days. Let's look at the evolution. This is just the beginning, before we start into it. Gramophone records were there earlier during our grandfather's days. And of course, whoever has got an interest now, they still go with the vinyl records. And then this is the videotape which was being played. This moved on to cassettes and this moved on to the video cassettes. Then it moved on to the CDs and DVDs. Where are we now? We are here on the Netflix and Amazon. And when you look onto the left side, you've got YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, and whatnot. So look at the change of technology, the way it has come across. Saying earlier, you used to have room full of records and all. I still remember, sometimes it doesn't work. You put a pencil and roll it across or put a Fevicol and attach a tape. But nowadays, just pull up your phone, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, play whatever you want, and you're not owning the record. But again, what is happening is that you've got access to everything. Maybe earlier, I used to have limited access. One room full of records, and maybe I missed my favorite song in that. But now that's not the case. You pay $599, Alexa will play whatever you want. No? That's how the technology is changing. And the same technological changes are coming in the procurement as well. When I say procurement, I mean supply chain. So when I say procurement and supply chain, please read it as synonymous, please. I'm not trying to get into procurement alone. Automation, blockchain, we spoke about it. augmented reality for logistics automation, enhancing visibility and efficiency, track and trace visibility, and performance matrix. These are essential tools for you when you're trying to do the technological integration with your system. Now, how many of you know the augmented reality for logistics automation? Has anyone tried it? Augmented reality for logistics automation. Here in Qatar also, we do have organizations which have already implemented it for the warehouse optimization. You must have heard about the company called Gulf Warehousing Company, GWC. Yes. GWC already has it because the CEO Ranjiv Menon had the vision 3 years back, even before the COVID actually. And they do have this optimization already. And it is supported by SAP and Oracle. When you're looking at SAP HANA or you're looking at the Oracle Fusion, they already have these modules built in. So that sometimes we do have certain highly enthusiastic people, instead of going straight, they will go to the right, move to the left, and then go again to the right, then move to the left because they have a lot of time. But with the augmented reality, the robo actually gives you the optimized path. It is telling you, you can see it, it guides you. It's like an aircraft. You know, whenever there is an emergency, they say the lights will go blow, you can go out of the exit. That's how it happens in the augmented reality. Whenever you scan an SKU, it tells you it's at X location. Not only X location, it tells you what is the optimized path to go to that X location. That is where the augmented reality is being implemented. And it's in place. Even with 𝗦𝗲𝗃 also it's happening. And there are a few other warehouses which are trying it out. Whatever I've seen, I'm telling you, DHL has it, sorry. DHL also has it, which is a good sign. People are moving towards the automation. First, they think that automation is expensive. Automation is not expensive. Subject to a condition that you implement it in the right fashion. That's how it goes on. Any doubts? Any questions? Then we have enhancing visibility and efficiency. Today, when we place an order with Amazon, or the new one is Temu, or let's say for that matter, even Talabat, we get the complete visibility, which is the need of the hour, because the customers demand it. And for a supply chain professional, the customer is nothing but a stakeholder. So when the stakeholder is requesting for an item, immediately he'll come across and say, sir, where is my order? So track and trace, either you can check it manually, or you can give the options to them where they can go and check it out on the system itself. So when you give them the track and trace, they'll be calm and quiet. But if you tell them that, no, it's coming, it's on the way. Next day, they'll come across, they'll say, it's coming, it's on the way. So you become repetitive rather than showing him the fact, saying that, okay, it has departed. First mile is completed. Now it's actually on the voyage. And then it's going to arrive after 4 days into Doha. And then the last mile clearance and delivery comes into play. Rather than saying it's on the way, it's going to arrive. If you give them the specifics, the stakeholder is going to be very, very calm. He understands the process. Next time, he will plan well in advance, knowing how long it's going to take for the items to arrive into Doha. That's the key, to do the predictive analytics. Whatever you're giving now, providing the visibility, it will help them plan. And it is your responsibility to give them that visibility. When I'm saying your responsibility, I'm not expecting you to send it on a daily basis. At least make a provision, or you can inform the management to give the provisions so that the track and trace is available for them. Yeah. Then comes a performance matrix. This is a very, very interesting thing. When you say performance matrix, sometimes the supplier says, I have given it. Then there is a logistics provider. Then there is a customs clearance guy. You know, in the supply chain process, there are so many variables and so many elements which are beyond our control. It makes it very difficult for us. For the stakeholder or the user department, if I call them, they would say, I raised a requisition, I don't care, you bring the item. Procurement will say, yeah, I placed the order, I'm done. You guys, you deal with it. But after that, what happens? Has he delivered it or not on time? Is the quality as per our spec or not? Has he given the quantity according to the requirement or not? Maybe you ordered 1 million, he gave only 500,000. It does happen because they are on the other side of the globe, right? You don't know all these things. So performance metrics here is, you need to quantify the supplier performance. Supplier performance, whether he has delivered on the promised date or not. If he does not deliver on the promised date, what do we do?
Line stoppage.
Line stoppage. Any more? If he does not deliver on time, what do we do? Sorry? What is the word for that? Back charge, one word, but there is a contractual word for that. LD. LD is liquidated damages. Absolutely. Bank guarantees also will come into the play, and LDs are always linked to the performance. And LDs, we agree during the negotiation itself, saying that how much percentage you will charge per week for the delayed items as per the contract. But the contract, again, you're doing it, right? So you need to ensure that these elements are put in. The only excuse for LD, there is one more clause, which is an excuse for LD. Anybody from the contracts background? Absolutely, that's fine. What I'm saying is that the only element which can override the liquidated damages, there is one clause, force majeure. Exactly. Other than that, anything else, you penalize them, right? You're saying, guys, you guys are responsible. This is what was expected because of you. These are the liquidated damages. Believe you me, you're not going to charge them your consequential loss. Your consequential loss could be into millions, but you're only going to charge them the liquidated damages agreed in the contract. But then if you go into consequential loss, that's a different topic, it runs into millions. Whatever has been agreed on, yes, you will penalize them. However, if he declares a force majeure, then you won't be doing any more penalties onto them. Yep. So do we proceed further? Data analysis and big data. This is becoming the hot topic these days, saying, wow, what's going to happen with the data analytics, big data? It's very crucial in supply chain management. Very, very crucial. They say smarter decisions using predictive analytics. Earlier, you need to download the data and then work with the Excel. I don't know how many of you do the pivoting. Do the pivoting, do the goal 6 scenarios, then you will come up with some predictive analytics. Today, when you use BI, when you use the BI, business intelligence, or there are some more tools available, Tableau tool is there. When you feed your data into it, you can customize the reports what you need. And that is available using predictive analytics. When I say predictive analytics, I'm not going to predict what's going to happen, like what happened in Dubai last week. No, that's not possible. So what we're going to predict is, last year, let us say the inventory for the tires grew up during the summer. We know what size tires and how did it happen. Yes, what is it needed for this year means using the last year's data, we can put in our further elements into it. So you will say maybe you require, let's say 70,000 tires of X number size. That is where the predictive analytics will come for the warehouse guy to come across with the requirements. That is where the predictive analytics will be used. Similarly, the freon gas, which is used in all the air conditioning, that also increases only during the summer. Why? Because everyone is rushing with the cars or vehicles, or they're saying that, no, fill up my gas. So this helps. There are seasonal parameters as well. All the parameters can be taken into account through down on the predictive analytics. However, if it is an erratic demand, in the sense, maybe they put a hump over there, which is causing the tires to get degraded, that is something which we cannot take it into account. Nobody can predict that. Enhancing efficiency and accuracy. If the requirement was 25,000 last year, given that you're going to add 12% of inflation this year and all, then yes, the accuracy will be closer to the reality. If you're looking at the 𝗙iFA, what happened? Our prediction was 1.2, but people came 750,000 only. So there is a big error in margins. In order to reduce those margins, in order to reduce it, you use this smarter decision using the predictive analytics. What happens is that some people, they say, no, I can't take a risk, so let me increase the percentage into it. Okay, you can increase it, but then what are you doing? You're wasting it. You're wasting your resources. You're blocking your capital. And what happens after that? Then you have to return all the excessive inventory items what you have it. So it needs to be very, very cautious how we're going to do it. Leveraging big data for advantage, I use it predominantly for the negotiations. Negotiations and also planning the requests. Whenever we have got the requisitions for the items to be ordered along with the SKUs, EAQs, everything can be planned with that. So it's very essential for it. . Any questions here on this? I'm a person who will be asking, if you have got any question, please ask. As I told you, let's make it interactive. Now, some people, they say digital supply chain platforms, they are expensive. No, this thing cannot be affordable. Now you have so many systems available worldwide, not only large organizations, even the small and medium-sized organizations, they can gain from the digital supply platforms. Last week I met a person who was also introducing not B2B, but B2C also. In the sense, a platform where you can go and say, I need filter for my car. Let us say it is Mercedes ML350 model 2016. And then you say, I need air filter and all. So the people would be able to quote for you on the platform itself. You need not go and take access and everything else. The supplier would be taking an access, whereas you as a customer, you will get it easily. Rather than you going to a shop and fighting and negotiating and doing it, there are platforms coming into the market which can do it. I'm one of the partners and will be launching soon. Exactly, something like Alibaba. In Doha, we don't have it. So we said we're going to launch it and see how it would react. But definitely, we're not going to tie up with China. We're going to have only companies within Qatar itself who have got the stock of those items here. Because if you're saying that it's going to come from China, again, there is no guarantee on the product. Why I say is that, no offense, but recently I ordered something from Temu. The first 2 orders were excellent. I was like surprised. I changed my strap of my watch and I got. But the 3rd order which has come, I ordered a large size and a medium size has been delivered. And then he mentions it saying that M is equal to Q and some technical jargon. I said, guys, now how do I return it? Means the return option is not clear for you. So these sort of traps do exist. 2 orders perfect. From 3rd onwards, you spend more. And the minute you spend more, then you're going to get into the trap. So yes, this particular option will be only for the companies in Qatar who have got the stocks. So that's mandatory. Or else, let us say, if I'm asking for an air filter for a car, and if it is coming after 3 weeks, there is no point. I want it in a day or 2. So day or 2 means locally possible. So day or 2 locally possible. And with the data that we collected, it would help these companies here locally available, saying that there is a need for X number of filter in Doha. Exactly. Because the people who've got the stocks, we don't know today. Today, let's say I'm a layman, I don't know how many people have got the stocks here of that particular filter here in Doha, and what is the price and how will they supply it. If I go to the agent, you all know Nasser bin Kharbash, you have to pay through your nose. But NBK or Mercedes, they don't manufacture filter. All of them, they either go for the Baldwin filter or a Fleet Guard filter. Definitely, those are equivalent and they are good enough for you. Whoever is registered, let us say they can supply the Mercedes-Benz parts, it will go to them. So one query, there'll be SEO, there'll be keywords. The minute you enter the keyword, then it gets tagged automatically. Yeah. Real world digital transformation success stories. A lot happens when we speak about the digital transformation from manual when they move on to the digital world. I'll give you an example. In my previous organization, I developed a system called Q Logistics. Similarly, there is a user department, supply chain. There is a procurement department. There is a logistics department. Procurement department places a PO. They did not inform the logistics department. Goods going to be ready and they need to be collected. Or maybe they informed somebody slept on it. And then the fight starts. And then we need to use the conflict management. So when we identified that, the trigger point is the purchase order or the contract. We made a system in the Oracle itself, which can create a task the minute the PO gets approved. That avoids the issue itself. Rather than going for the manual work, everything is being transformed digitally. The minute the PO is approved, there is a task coming into the Q Logistics system. It gets allocated to the facilitator. He starts working on it. When I say working on it, he needs to appoint a freight forwarder. How does he appoint a freight forwarder? He needs to have the rates. How many containers are it? When are they getting ready? All the details are taken from the purchase order itself or the contract, communicated to the freight forwarder. Freight forwarder gives the quote. Although they only give 30 days validity now, we demand for a longer validity, and then we bind them across, and then the management starts into it. Not only that, the user gets the visibility as well onto it. So it is a digital transformation here which happens. And then which is good, comfortable, easy to track, and quantify the performance. Performance of the supplier, freight forwarder, shipping line, local agent. If it is going to the warehouse guys also. So that's how the transformation helps. I'll give you one more example. How many of you know dot matrix printer? You know the one which makes noise? Yeah. When I joined last organization, my seat was next to that printers. Believe me, I had to put the earplugs to sit, and then I got annoyed with it. And then I said, why are we printing the purchase order on a 3-part stationery? No, Rausab, it is needed. I said, okay, can you tell me why is it needed? One goes to finance, one goes to warehouse, one goes to supplier. I said, we are on the Oracle system, right? And in my previous organization before joining this one, there we were using the laser printers. I said, okay, I don't want to offend anyone. I said, let me dig details. I went to the finance guys. Guys, do you look for the physical copy of the PO? I said, no, they don't look at it because they are seeing the information in the system. I said, okay, one copy, done. Then I went to the logistics guys. I said, are you guys looking for it? No, sir, we have it in the system. Then I said to the supplier, is the copy going to the supplier? No. What they're doing is they're taking the printout, they're scanning it, they're putting it back. Scanned copy is going to the supplier. I said, then where exactly is the need for a 3-part stationery? So, it is like asking questions. The more you ask the questions, then and the guys were like, okay, no, this is what I found from 3 departments. Now you tell me, how do we do it? They were like, no, sir, first we were told like this. Things have changed. We have evolved. And the minute we changed, now we went to the laser printer itself with knocking off all the dot matrix. So the printers have gone, the sound is gone, the ribbons have gone, 3-part stationery is gone. You know how much of savings we did? It's nothing but it's your regular printer now. Isn't it? So what happens now is we need to ask questions. It is up to the buyer, manager, the superintendent, whoever is doing it. The more you ask, you'll get the information to it. Some of them, they said, no, it is the law of the land. I said, okay, what is the law of the land? Certificate of origin is needed for the physical signed document when you're bringing the goods into Doha before the COVID. But during the COVID, they said electronic documents are acceptable. I said, now it is continuing. I said, something is coming up every now and then. So you keep knocking and knocking until you open the door. So digital transformation really helps people, which I have noticed. And you need to be vigilant. You need to be vigilant, ask questions, and never assume. The minute you assume, maybe they needed it. They don't need it. Go and check it. No harm in checking it, right? So these sort of things do happen. Huh? And these are the advantages of embracing digital solutions is there is a lot of potential for the cost savings. Cost savings, process saving as well. There will be a lot of tasks which are non-productive, lagging tasks which can be eliminated totally. What are the challenges? Some of the challenges are people feel it could be cyber security, but I think cyber security is very strong these days. Yesterday, someone hacked my Facebook account and sent a friend request to a few of them. Immediately, my friends called me. I said, no, can you please report it? The minute they reported it, within 2 minutes, I think that profile was pulled down, fake. So cybersecurity threats are existing. However, we do have the remedies as well for it. And typically, when we are talking of the ERP solutions and all, they are very strong. So yes, challenges are duly addressed. And then comes another question is transparency. How do I trust the other platform? I said, guys, you are trusting Amazon and placing the orders. And then, somebody here is signing the document and all, and is agreeing with all the elements, and you can't do it. That's not possible. So there's an element of trust. And of course, yes, there'll be NDAs as well. And ethics is something we all need to be proud of. We need to sign it off. And ease of use for small entrepreneurs, that is a challenge which we can look at it. So people, they need to be tech savvy, at least minimum tech savvy. If not, I'm not saying that you need to be proficient into it. Other thing which comes up is sustainability and ethics. When we say sustainability, definitely it has to be green. So I put the slide in green color. People talk of saying sustainable. I said, okay. But what is the challenge of sustainability? Does anyone know the challenge of sustainability? Anyone challenge? Spend more. That's a different perception that we have in. That is one. Any other? Accessibility, that's absolutely true. Stakeholder cooperation also is there, exactly. And authentication also, whether it is genuinely sustainable or not, we need to do the audits into it. So these are the 4 challenges actually which are faced in our daily life for all the procurement professionals. Typically, when we are, excuse me, when we are sourcing products from certain supplier, we don't know who is supplying the raw material to them. We don't know whether child labor was used over there. We don't know whether it was from a conflict region or not, like the diamonds we just saw it. So how do we address it is through the supplier audits. We need to do a lot of supplier audits, and there should be a budget for it. All this thing, it is not in our hands, it's beyond our grade. So it should come from top-down approach. So you give the visibility to the management saying, these are needed, and then yes, they are the ones who will be providing it. Sustainability is a very big topic. It depends, and there's a lot happening in Qatar. The rubber from the used tires, do you know that is being used in some place here in Doha by the municipality? Sorry? Carpet. And also the signages which you see on the main roads, that is from the used tire itself. The project is driven by Qatar Development Bank with the collaboration of Ministry of Finance. And I never imagined it. Qatar has really evolved it. They went ahead of the game. And there are used oil reclamation plants here which recycle the oil. People think that it's sent to some third world countries for reusing and all. No. Recycling is happening in Doha itself. Of course, there are some products which are being exported out and all. But majority of things, the government of Qatar has taken a lot of activity into it. A lot of action is happening. And it's very sustainable. Very, very sustainable element. And what happens is that environmental and ethical initiatives, we speak a lot about it, saying we're going to do X, we're going to do Y, we're going to do Z. But how far are we implementing is the key. Implementation should happen. It should be part of your RFQ process itself, where you clearly define how you're going to do it. Are we clear? Yeah. Let's see. This is my favorite slide. Risk management and resilience. You know, we have seen a lot of risks in Qatar. 4 or 5 years back, we all have seen what happened, what the neighboring countries have done to us. But again, I consider that blessing in disguise. We have become self-sustaining actually with that. Qatar has emerged victorious thanks to the government. You know, that was needed. You never know. That was needed so that Qatar can come up with its own potential. And today what we are seeing here is, look at lovely Baladna. Now we give that as an example, saying, yeah, Baladna is a good example as to how we sustain ourselves. And then there are a lot more other industries which have come across here in Qatar last few years. That was one resilience check. Then we had pandemic, COVID, 2 stress tests on Qatar. We emerged victorious. Third one, of course, we knew and we were preparing was the FIFA. So we all knew, and 3 times we have emerged victorious. We had blockade, we had COVID, we had FIFA, and still Qatar has sustained it. So how did we sustain it? What exactly did we do? There are elements into it. Whenever you see a risk, you identify the risks, you mitigate it, and then you execute it, and then you review it, and then you put the plan to do the actions. You know, continuous reviews are there. So this slide, it talks about identifying and mitigating supply chain risks. How many of you have a risk register in your organizations? 1, 2, 3. Anybody else with a risk register? I'll tell you why. In my previous organization, 60% of the products were coming from one Far East country. We all know which country it is. And when that country is impacted, and we had to send goods to that country, we were running helter-skelter. We can say some of us, they were running like headless chicken, in the sense they don't know what to do. So what should you do is you need to have multiple sources for your products. Multiple sources that are credible. You can say that, you know, not everything is as economical as what you get it from the Far East. However, you need to balance it out. Saying that what is the risk if you are laying all eggs in one basket? Supply chain always says, no, don't lay your eggs in one basket. You need to split the risk. If one is gone, you have the 2. If 2 is gone, you have the 3. And then, of course, why not look at the local options as well? You need to try and develop the local company as well. For that, I think Qatar Development Bank is doing a lot of support for encouraging local manufacturing here. It's good. You need to be vigilant. You need to get on with it. Building resilient strategies is another element. So what is your strategy is? Multiple vendors for it. And there is no point if I get multiple vendors from the same location, right? If I say I've got 3 suppliers, all 3 from the same location, and that location is down, then it doesn't help us. You need to understand the geopolitical risks also with that. Ensuring business continuity. It is our responsibility as supply chain to ensure we get the business continuity. In order to get it, you need to implement the strategies which have been agreed at the beginning of it. And then disaster recovery planning. In case there is a disaster happening, what is the recovery planning? Because you need to review it and take the actions to move it together. What are the challenges for it is, if they declare force majeure is something we can't do anything, which was declared in the past as well. Supply chain collaboration. Collaboration does not mean with only stakeholders. It means also with the suppliers. Only when you collaborate and go with them and sit and work on certain products, they will come across with a better option. Believe you me, it can help you reduce your cost, plus the lead time, and also increase the quality as well. Because they know it better. You write a spec, you go to them and say, okay, this is my spec. Or you sit with them and say, okay, this is what I'm planning. How can we collaborate and make it better? Of course, you need to sign the NDAs. Don't just open up everything to one supplier and all, then audit will be after you. Don't take that risk. First, you need to have the NDAs, and then you get into the second phase of it. So achieving efficiency through collaboration. I've noticed it in some organizations which I worked, certain products which we are trying to develop it, exclusive for certain entity. Yes, you work with your supplier, then you can improve the cost, improve the quality, improve the designs and all also, which would prove much more better for you, which will give you an edge over the competition as well. So it is important, the collaboration. Of course, you need the support of the stakeholder also, because stakeholder will say, I don't care, I need this product. With that mindset, it's not going to help you. You need a stakeholder with an open mindset. If someone is sitting with that strong mindset saying, this is what I need, you need to call him, make him sit, make him understand. First, ask him, why is his requirement so rigid? The more you ask why, then you will understand where is he coming from. And then you present to him, what exactly are the options available here? Risks, it can be knocked off completely if the stakeholder is of the open mindset, if your supplier is willing to collaborate. So this particular slide has an association with your risk management as well. So collaboration is the key. Tomorrow, let us say, if during the blockade situation, if our suppliers did not collaborate with us, where would have been? No, we would have been nowhere actually. No, if you stand tall and say, no, I'm the procurement guy, I'm dictating the rule and all, it doesn't work out. You need to have that one-to-one relationship with the suppliers. When I say one-to-one, don't get too friendly as well. Audit will be behind you. Keep it very professional, very professional and all. Call them to the office, discuss with them, mitigate the situations, collaborate, and ensure you do have the backup plans with them. That's the collaboration you need to have it. Very important. Because as I told you, today you're working with X company, he's with Y company. Tomorrow you may change to Y company as well. So these sort of things do happen. Exactly. Now, soft skills for SCM professional. This is a very interesting image, actually. You know, in 2009, there was a helicopter and there was a video recorder, you know, who's doing his job, getting the live thing and all. In 2019, both the jobs are outsourced, they're gone. Why? Because drones have taken over it. Same thing for the SCM professionals as well, which I'm telling you now. You need to enhance your skills. You need to enhance your skills so that you're ready for future. The 4 elements which you have seen at the second slide, how it's going to prepare for the next generation. If you're not aligned, this is what is going to happen. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I have seen it practically happening. In one of the organizations I've worked, they're outsourcing the complete procurement function. So the C-class items are being outsourced from third party with whom they have an agreement. So many of them, they have doubts saying that, sir, do we have a job? I said, if you had upgraded, you would not have been lying on the transactional level. You would move to the tactical level or you'd go to the strategic level. But because you have stayed at the transactional level, there is a big risk that your job would be outsourced. Transaction level is the first which will be outsourced. So move yourself to the tactical or the strategic roles. And this is one live example. So what do we need for soft skills when you're looking at the supply chain professionals? You need leadership and team working skills. Definitely, teamwork is very important. And along with the teamwork, you need to be a natural leader in the sense you need to accept more into the leadership roles. Effective communication abilities. Communication is the key. This is the world of communication. The minute we were born, we communicated, saying, I am born, I am crying. That is the way it is. There is crying baby gets a milk. Crying baby is communicating, it's getting the milk. It's up to you how you communicate to your management, to your stakeholders, to your team leaders. It's very, very essential. Critical thinking and problem solving. If it is a regular job, anybody can do it. What is the advantage of you taking up that role? Specifically, you taking the role, and then what exactly are you adding into it? What is the value addition that you're doing into it? So you need to have that critical thinking and problem solving. When you look at a problem, you will see a problem. When you look at it saying that I can get solutions, you'll get a lot of solutions. It is the perspective. Change your perspective always. Don't look at it as a problem, but look at it as a solution. Take it as an opportunity for you to grow. Any problem means, wow, that's an opportunity for me to grow. So take it that way. And then you have adapting to diverse team and cultures. We are in a multicultural environment. Of course, some of them, they would say, you're the world's highest populated country and all. Yeah, but that is something which we can't avoid it. One in every seventh person is supposed to be a nation. But having said that, this particular element is very important when you're dealing in a multicultural environment. It's very essential for that. So, what is the challenge for it? You need to have open mindset. And then you need to have the budgets as well, no? To plan for your training and other things.
Training center.
Cultural intelligence. This is linked to the previous slide here. You need to understand global cultural diversity. And then you need to be effective against the cross-cultural communication. Some people, they think it's part of a style or fashion to use swearing words in the communication, which is totally against it. It cannot be used. It's considered unparliamentary. So you need to understand, suppose the same thing you use it with an Arab and all, definitely he might hit you as well. So people should be very cautious as to what language they're using, how they're using. Even the body language plays a vital role into it. Yes, because the person sitting on the other side of the table is also a human being, and he also has emotions. So you need to be very cautious. Adapting to international business environment and navigating to multicultural workplaces. Let's say you go into negotiation to Mexico and all. You can't be using your own tactics which you use in Doha, right? Be a Roman in Rome. Typically, when you're adapting there, why don't you adapt it here? No, it plays a very, very important role. Regulatory compliance knowledge. How many of you go through the audits every year? I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you say audit, is it internal audit or external audit or government audit? Both. Okay. Were you caught for an audit anytime, saying they need extra information and all on any of your project? Every time? Okay. External audits. It has to be there. Even if you put one full stop extra, they'll write a full book about it, saying there is one full stop in that. Exactly. Very true. Very true. So how do we address the audit queries? Guys, what do you do to address them proactively? The more you give them, they give the more. No, that is. Okay. Okay. But we did not put like single there is next one also. Because they are not saying anything. I just have okay. I will come to the sense of clothing. They have yeah, we are see, at the time of any tender, the minute it crosses certain value, You need to be prepared. And again, what happens is that sometimes you may be the lucky winner, and sometimes you may get lucky as well because they select it randomly. And when they select it randomly, and then if it is your tender file, then yes, you need to be prepared. For that reason, whether it is a small or a large tender, follow the same set of documentation so that they'll have the complete transparency into it. You know, being an ISO document person myself, working in, I should remember my guru, Mr. Naseem Khan. He's the one who taught me the documentation because that was manual time in '97 when I started my procurement jobs. Today, even if I got a tender, my file would be good. And deliberately, our admin teams and all, they bring the auditors to me. They know that my documentation is full. It's complete. So bring it to them. Okay, they'll take the file. They'll go. I said, you read the file. And if you have any doubts, then come to us. The documentation starts from the origin as to what has happened. When did the request come in? What discussions we had in on the specification of the requirements and all. What budgets we had in the budget approvals. Then the tender. What tenders went out. Along with the tender, what documents went out. And each of the suppliers got different tabs into it. The communication with the supplier. And then yes, evaluations, technical evaluation, commercial evaluation, techno-commercial recommendation, approval from the tender board. All those things will flow through. And then whether it is a purchase order or a contract will come onto it. Once you have that sort of preparation, whether you do it digitally or manually, I think audit will not have any issues with that. But these days, audit, they get bored coming to me. They said, no, we don't want to go to this one. We'll go somebody else, show us somebody else who's got a tender. So preparation should be there for each and every tender. Proactive preparation. Documentation is the key. True. I'll give you a very good example here. Exactly, single source approvals, are they in place or not? And they will even challenge the single source approval, saying that, why can't somebody else do it? Once I got a call from one of those user department, I need a 10-ton forklift. I said, okay, what specs, what residual capacity, what height you want to do it, what type of mast unit? No, give me a rough number, I want to budget it. If it is for budget, I called up FAMCO guys, 𝗪𝗲 Machinery, I gave it 300,000, it's done. But when the requirement actually came in, 10-ton forklift with a triplex mast, with a side positioner and X, Y, and Z, and so many things onto it. And the actual budget came out to be 700,000. Yeah. And then they said, procurement gave us a budget of 300. We raised the budget request, it's approved. Now it is 700,000. So definitely we were summoned by the finance CFO. What are you guys doing here? Are you guys joking? Do you know what exactly is the requirement? We said, sir, excuse me. We asked him. He said, budgetary. He said, only basic requirement. If he still wants the basic requirement forklift, I'll get for 300,000. But because he has added triplex mast into it, side positioners and whatnot, it has gone up to 700,000. Now, who is at fault here? The clarity of communication is the key. Whether it is your tender requirement, your budget requirements, later on, what happens even during the contract management also, a lot of things do happen. Delays. User has agreed for the delay, but has he communicated to procurement? Because as you rightly pointed out, there is liquidated damages, right? We are the ones who will enforce liquidated, but if he has not communicated to us, how do we enforce liquidated damages? If not in liquidated damages, we'll take something else from supplier, isn't it? So communication is the key. And whatever is happening, whether in the upstream activity or downstream activity, everything should be documented to avoid any compliance risks here. This is the key. And these compliance lists can also go to the legal things. Because when you're in the procurement, you're walking on the sword. When you say procurement, the next thing, and somebody, oh, procurement, means they have got this sense saying that something is happening with the procurement. Although we do control the money, but again, our job is definitely at a very high risk here. We are not supposed to meet the suppliers outside the office. Even when you bump into somebody also, that's a risk. If someone clicks a picture, oh, so-and-so is meeting him outside the office, what could be the reason? Isn't it? So perception, the mindset. And in order to be compliant, we need to be very cautious with that. Staying compliant with the global regulations. Minimizing legal risk in operations. Ethical practice in supply chain management, ensuring ethical conduct in supply chain management, but is by complying towards it. Absolute compliance is important. If we do not comply, then we are inviting it. Now, let's look at the professional development. I think I'm taking too much time, isn't it? Or just some more? No? I hope it's not boring for you guys. Okay. Professional development. Professional development, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your qualification, irrespective of your title, it's a lifelong learning for relevance. Industry certifications and training programs. There are a lot of training programs available. I'm a CIPS person, definitely. So I talk about CIPS, which is highly recognized worldwide. But I tell you, it's not economical. It's an expensive thing, and it needs a lot of your time, dedication, and hard work is needed. Staying updated with the evolving trends. You need to be updated. Continuous skills enhancement. And then comes get updated or run a risk of being outdated. This is my last and favorite statement against every speech I given. You need to be updated or you'll be outdated. Because there are people coming up with latest technologies and all. Yeah. Now, what are the future trends? Prediction for SCM's future, anticipating industry changes, upcoming transformations, navigating the evolving landscape. All these things are happening here. As we speak now, there are so many things which are changing. Each of these elements is half a day's course, half a day's workshop. The way it is coming across, depending on the category which you handle. And we always encourage category management. Category management is the key for you. For any of the supply chain professional, especially when you're in the procurement, when you're handling a category, you can go for category specific trading. And that helps, whether you're in the buying or in the downstream activity. So be prepared with the category management. I would recommend Jonathan O'Brien's 5-step model, which is a successful model and which is very easy to implement it. Industry changes which are happening, evolving industry changes. We have seen one videographer how he's lost his job. Similarly, shipping industry now, earlier it was like just call and get a quote and do it. Now it's not the case. Now pricing is being linked to Drewry index. Am I correct, Crystal? Pricing is being linked to Drewry, saying that why should we take the hit? You can link it to the index and up to 50% of the mark you say, okay, if there is a change X, then we'll agree on price Y. So you need to put in that. And similarly for the other CPIs, commercial price indicators or producers price index, you can put it, linking up to the local indices and then agree on to it. Very interestingly, when the fuel price changes, the transportation guys comes across, they come to, sir, the fuel price changed 60%, sir, you have to increase my price by 60%. I said, excellent. 60% has changed and he's showing you the proof, right? Okay, WACUD has changed the price 60%. I said, but what is the fuel element in your pricing? That's a transport contract. In that, yes, you do have some vehicles into it. You said you've got a contract of a vehicle being utilized. That vehicle, okay, let's say a 15-seater bus. For a 15-seater bus, there is a driver, there's a vehicle which goes into it, operational expenses are coming into that. Then what is the cost of the fuel into it? Maybe 30%. So you're going to impact the 60% of 30%, not the complete 60% into it. So that intel is there only with the procurement professionals. Going to a nice soft corner user department, you would say 60% increase, okay, you take 50% and then close the deal. That should not be the way. You are the policy police. You are the unsung heroes. You should take it, break it down, find out what is the actual impact, and then negotiate the pricing. That's how it goes on. Preparing for the upcoming transformations. For the known sort of risks, known transformations will be prepared. But for the unknown, that's a risk. Now they're talking of Iran and Israel, right? And then people have jacked up the shipping cost, war risk surcharges coming across, or the pirate risk surcharge comes across when you're trying to bring it down. All these things will come across and say, why are you coming from that area? You can change the route, right? There are tools to optimize, but it's up to you how you utilize the tools. Transformations. When the Antwerp was full, then you move away from Antwerp, you go to some other port. But you can't say, no, Charles de Gaulle, it is full, then I have to wait for it for the next vessel to go. Then why didn't you truck it to Antwerp? Truck it to Antwerp, from there you move it, rather than paying extra. So optimization tools are with the supply chain professionals. So, navigating the evolving landscape, it's the same thing. Conclusion. What are the key takeaways from today? We have seen crucial next-gen supply chain management skills. The first element, first slide, which has got 4 elements. then we agreed that change is inevitable. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. With you or without you, the management is going to do it. Embracing change and technology is essential. It's not the survival of the strongest. If it was survival of the strongest, then dinosaur would be ruling the earth. It is the survival of the fittest. People who are able to adapt, people who are flexible, people who are learning, people who are evolving, it's them actually. They will survive it. And then yes, being in this profession, we need to be adaptable. And then sustainability, ethics, and risk management matters. So as we discussed it, if you identify something, just look for it, then let it go in. Collaboration and soft skills enhance the success. Collaboration, not only with your stakeholders, but with your suppliers. That would enhance the success. Soft skills, we have seen what soft skills are needed, how you should be doing it. And reduction of OPEX in major organizations. In the sense, all the organizations now are trying to reduce operational expenses. And when they say operational expenses, first things first they look at is the HR. Manpower, headcount. Believe you me, and with the supply chain as a service companies coming up across the world, people are willing to compromise on the supply chain professionals, saying that they would rather give that particular role to a company who is an expert into it, because they want to focus on their strategic activities. Let's say, if I speak of an airline, the core activity of an airline is aircrafts, passengers, X, Y, and Z, and cargo. Their job is not this. So if they find a company, let's say for warehousing, they said, I'm not a warehouse expert. Warehousing, there is GWC, there is 𝗦𝗲𝗃. Give it on to them. They will manage. Similarly, when they see the procurement function and somebody else is offering it, they'll say, guys, can you be my extended wing of procurement? If they say yes, knock it off. That's what they're aiming for. Be prepared. It did. And it happened with the British Airways also. They have outsourced it to a company in India, SNS. And Qatar Airways is also doing it to a company in Deloitte. It is going to happen. Let us say, let's look at the function of supplier relationship management, supply registration. It does take some time, right? But is that your core job? Do you have to do it or give it to a company who can do it for you? There are companies who do it, and those companies, they are specialized in it. And if you want a credit rating, they'll approach Dun & Bradstreet as well to get you the credit rating, and they will support you with all the other activities. So why to have 3 people for it and put all the headache when you can give it to the others? So organizations are thinking in those lines, and you need to adapt towards it. Only when you adapt towards it and prepared, you'll be okay. And the people in the supply relationship management, they might curse me for saying that the jobs are being outsourced, but in fact, they are happening. A lot of things are going away. So be prepared, enhance yourself, improve your skills, and be prepared. And reiteration, modern skills ensure adaptability. They drive innovation and efficiency. Stay committed to lifelong learning, in the sense, don't stop it. At this age, I still read, which my wife and son, they curse me, but I said, I can't help it. I read it. And wherever it's possible, you can contribute it, write articles, write on LinkedIn, contribute into it. That would be helpful. And then it keeps you abreast of technology as well. The minute and there is no harm in learning. We learn from everybody. And you need to be with the open mind. As I say, the cup cannot be full. No? If the cup is full, that's a challenge. Don't keep it full. Take it. Thank you. So now it's time for question and answers. If there are any questions, please. I would request, please ask as many questions as possible, because only then I feel that people have really grasped the presentation, or it will be just one-way talk. What was the most interesting thing today, in the entire thing? Maybe we can start with you, sir.
What do you think future that's like
Very good question. Thank you for asking. Your name, please? 𝗬𝗲𝗏. 𝗬𝗲𝗁𝗃𝗀. Yes, okay. I remember you. See, there is a common myth here saying that sustainability, it's going to be expensive and all. That is being killed, actually. Even in Qatar, what has happened is the government is pumping money to the SME companies so that the cost of production is brought down. Some time back, when we were looking at the polythene bags, none of them were biodegradable. People were thinking biodegradable bags would be expensive and all, but that's not the case anymore, isn't it? Now the government put a foot down and said, no, guys, you can't use it. One-time plastic is being banned. So it's being blocked, actually. Not only that, even on the reputed airlines like the Qatar Airways and all, 𝗬𝗲𝗄𝗃, Emirates, they've stopped one-time plastic. And then many of them, they are going back to sustainable ones and maybe steel cutlery again. They said steel cutlery, which can be used for 7 or 8 rotations, that is better than going for the plastic ones. Which plastic, it looks like nice and fancy, but after that, it's going into the landfill, which is not good. So people, they started caring for their reputation as well. Not only reputation, their conscience has woken up. Let's put it that way. When the conscience wakes up, then yeah. Future, all the companies will be adopting like the way we adopted now. These cups, I think, will be banned very soon. Everything would be paper cups now. This is not recommended, actually. So the tea cups and all you've seen, it's completely moved away now. Plastic bags have come across. Spoons have come into recyclable. And I've seen with the grain husk, they are making the spoons and forks, which has come out. I think cost-wise, it's not so favorable at this point of time. But with the increase in volumes, I think, yes, that's also coming in the way. And there are a lot more which comes in. Recently, I was seeing a joke in Germany. They made a plate out of leaves. Where are you from, sir? Which country? From India. But in India, we already have pattal, you know. The plates are already existing in India. But exactly, yes, yes. So things are changing. And the world is moving towards the complete sustainable options because the world, it does not belong to us. 40 years down the line, we won't be here on this planet, but our kids and their children would be there. For them, we need to make it available. So yes, it's very important. We have to move towards a sustainability option. Does that answer? Does that answer it?
But like not say like it's also there. They are more focused on generating profits and
To profit at, but profit at whose cost? No, don't worry about it. Government will put a foot down very clearly on that. Mm-hmm. The point is making it net zero. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be a top-down approach, because if we try to fight with the management for it and all, first of all, we've got budget constraints, and as you rightly mentioned, the user department with their fixed mindset and all, it becomes a very upstream task internally. However, if it is coming from top down saying that, guys, this year we're going to have X amount of carbon footprint drop down. If that statement is coming from the CEO or CFO and all, then everyone would contribute towards it and how to bring it down. So it's definitely a top down approach for it. Any more questions?
I was into operations planning, dispatch, so it became a complete supply chain and the procurement profession. What are the basic things that I concentrate in terms of certification and just knowledge category? In terms of any courses extra, does this require?
So definitely, I would say one is 𝗬𝗃𝗍𝗵 method. You learn by yourself. Yeah. Two is you join a professional organization. There is a structured way of doing it. See, many of you here have PMPs in you, but because you have not given the exam, you don't carry the designation of PMP. But when you study PMP, you feel, oh, this is what I do in a daily life. No, believe you me, that's what happens. You already have it in you. When you learn through an organization, you realize the structure, how it is done and all, and then you'll be formally given that accreditation. So two things are happening. One, you're gaining the confidence saying, yes, you have the knowledge and you can do it. Number two, you're getting the formal accreditation as well, which will help you get recognized easily. No, there are two ways of doing it. Because when I did the PMP exam, during the COVID, I wrote my exam and all, and I said, writing exam was easy for me. And then it needs to be closed door and someone would be monitoring you. No one should enter, you should not move anything, X, Y, and Z regulations should be there into it. So that's the easy thing. Once I finished the PMP, then there is ACCA, Shared Service Certificate. I said, who's got the time to study it? I said, I'll directly go and write the exam. When I went and did the exam, 40 minutes, I finished the exam, I got 98%. I said, what do we need? Because it's already there in you. You just need that urge to go in, complete it, get the formal accreditation. Yes, please.
How the supply chain procurement future would be?
I was waiting for someone to ask the question. I'll tell you, this is one hell of a question. Using the
drastic of this future and new requirements, hiring manpower would be cut down, and also the existing manpower also will be reduced. So this kind of fear, I don't see.
Okay, before I answer that, how many of you are connected on my LinkedIn? 1, 2, 3. Okay. See, a few days back, I just shared an article. This was from the author of the category management, Jonathan O'Brien. He mentioned it very clearly, saying AI has integrated category management also into the ChatGPT, which if you want, you can go and type and see. For example, it's giving you answers for every question you ask him in a diligent manner. It makes your life easy. But having said that, there is an emotional element missing into that because it's a machine algorithm. It is absolutely machine language. The algorithms are existing. However, it lacks that emotional touch, which only you can do it. So machine may become intelligent enough, but still it lacks that particular touch only which you have it. It cannot be used for negotiations. It can only give you tools for negotiation, preparation, whereas it's you who has to negotiate it. Similarly, but when it comes to writing down some articles and all, it will definitely assist you. So you take it, you paraphrase it, you change the way you need it, and then, but it's evolved. It's come to an extent where you can depend on it 60%, I can say. But 40% is still you. But it's a very good tool, ChatGPT, and widely being utilized now. Yeah, because emails also, they're getting it from them, Yeah.
And it surpasses thereby the waste of resources, and you advise that we decrease. So in a situation where we have a tentative number, and should we, I don't really know, how do we have the sort of
Very good question, actually. I like that question. Why? Because in the shipping language, we do have ETA and ATA. Sir? ETA is estimated time of arrival. In the sense, the minute the order goes in, they'll be booking a vessel because vessel has to sail and come here. There is no confirmed date. There'll be certain tolerances onto it. We don't know what might happen. But then there is ATA, which is the actual time of arrival. So there is a delta between ETA and ATA, some cases. Majority of the cases, it matches exactly the same because of the, let us say, the performance of that particular shipping line. And sometimes when it gets rolled off at a third party, let's say while coming in from China, it gets rolled off in Singapore, waiting for the next vessel and all, then there is a date. So when you are keying in the data, first data, which will be ETA only would be keyed in. So they also know it's estimated time of arrival, it's not actual time of arrival. So whenever in the shipping line languages you see it, whenever it is sea freight, 7 days tolerance is a must actually, you need to take into account, because you never know. There could be some high seas somewhere and all, and it may not dock in, something else can happen. So these elements are taken into consideration when you're actually giving them the arrival dates here. Yeah. But again, if you're talking about the shipping, that's a one-day workshop completely. It's an ocean, actually. Does that answer your question? I'm here, I'm here for your questions, but don't feel shy. We agreed saying yes, we'll ask questions, and let's apply the Las Vegas rule. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Okay, so whatever happens in this room will stay here. So you can ask whatever you want. You don't like your boss, say that you don't like your boss as well. Any more questions?
Hi, can I ask questions on here?
Yes, please. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah, please.
So I'm a student, and I don't have much background with supply chain. And you mentioned that there are certain times in supply chain management where you're not supposed to put your eggs in one basket. So what if we're not able to find another supplier who can provide a good quality product?
Excellent question. A student is thinking on the risk mitigation. I like it. If you're unable to get a supplier, you need to start developing it. And I would say you need to start depending on the government agencies like Qatar Development Bank or the Ministry of Finance, Qatar Chamber of Commerce or Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and you approach them, tell them that this is the product I have and this is where it is coming from. I see a risk here. Can we not develop the product locally? The minute they see that there is an opportunity, it is not your headache anymore. It shifts on to the government, because they see that you are giving them an opportunity to develop a product locally here. So yes, there are government agencies. The minute you approach them, one of them will take it up, and then yes, they will start developing the suppliers.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. We'll give a few more minutes for questions. Procurement planning. Wow, procurement planning is a very vast subject. It depends on the type of category we are trying to plan. Let's talk about the category management. When we say category management, and which is my favorite subject, you have 5 stages into it, and I follow the Jonathan O'Brien method typically. What happens? When should we move on to it? Typically, one thing is you need to assess how long does a procurement take to complete the sourcing process. Number 1, when is the tender expiring? Number 2, how many potential bidders are there? Number 3, how soon do we need the project to be completed? Number 4, and how long does the contract department take to complete the agreement? That's also a major rule here. So all these elements combined together, when you put it into perspective, then you will see what is the lead time needed to complete the process. The minute you see that lead time, add 20 more days as buffer towards it. In project management, it's called float, and then you start the process. Because it all depends on you. If you've got an influence, I would say in my previous organization, somebody would say I would need 2 months for the contract to be completed. But for me, I used to complete the contract in 7 days. Everything is possible. There is nothing called impossible. Okay, very, very good question. Why does it take 9 months is the point. If it's taking 9 months, definitely don't debate. You ask them, suppose if you're completing a project now and sourcing process was completed in, let's say, April, you're saying by December you'll get a contract. Is that correct? Point is, why is it taking time? 2 things will happen. Number 1 is efficiency of the contract specialist. Number 2, the contract clause negotiations. If the contract clauses are negotiated during the actual commercial negotiation itself, it does not take time. If you have enclosed the draft contract in your RFQ when it is going to the supplier, and if they have any objections, let them raise it during the negotiation time itself, so that you are taking it upfront. And when you're handing the document to the contracts department, okay, these were the concerns and these are the resolutions. Please, can you conclude the agreement? That would reduce the time. I agreed. I agree on it. I've faced it actually. Mm-hmm. See, it's saying that the contract clauses are not being negotiated or agreed upon during the commercial negotiation itself. Have you, if only these clauses were negotiated during the technical clarifications or the commercial clarifications, you won't be having much left to conclude after the contract, after the negotiation, so that you can conclude the contract. I faced this. It's nothing new, Shahid. It is common. It's the mindset you need to change. It's saying that, okay, I'm going to negotiate even the contract clauses as well. Tell me what is the leverage you're going to give it to me. In one of the organizations I've worked, we used to complete the entire process. Along with the minute the PO is gone, we used to say, guys, this purchase order need to be backed up with a contract. This is the contract, I've reviewed it, and these are the clauses, I've finalized it. I need guidance on X, Y, and Z, where they are asking for unreasonable thing. Can you guide us? This is how you go to a legal specialist. They will give their opinion, correct it, finish it. However, if you keep it open-ended, saying my stakeholder will discuss X clauses, my finance will discuss the payment clauses, my treasury will discuss the performance bond, I will only discuss X. So then that creates too many stakeholders, get too many cooks. What happens? Absolutely. See, audit. So call them all of them. Call them into one room, like what we are sitting in here. You know the 6 thinking hats from by Edward de Bono. 6 thinking hats. There is a module actually. It's a very good tool. Call all of them. Make them sit in one room. This is the contract. Tell us what are your objections here. This is what supplier is willing to do. And then once you narrow it down, you call the supplier on a conference call and have a discussion with them and finish it off. That's the point. That's the point. You are delegating your authority to somebody else where he is taking the ownership and then he is delaying things out. You have to be assuming the role of a project manager where you control everything, whereas you delegate the task to them, get the response and finish it off. And never take a sequential approach, take a parallel approach. When you take a parallel approach, finance, this is your role, come back to me in 2 days. Treasury, I need this, you come back to me. Stakeholder, this is your role, come back to me. So within 2 days, you're getting the response from all the stakeholders. And then you bundle it up and then you submit. When you do this, believe me that 9 months will come down to 2 months or even less. It's happened. Practically, I've done it. Try that approach. It's absolutely about the efficiency. And again, you should be driving the project. Don't leave it to the others. You assume the responsibility, you take it, talk to your management and say, I need to complete it. And then do it. In one organization, I tell you, contract used to be finished after the goods were delivered. And they used to mock at us, which is a fact. So these sort of situations also exist. That's a government company. True. No, it is up to the procurement guys to optimize it. So we not only optimize the cost, we optimize the process. That's a key. If we are able to do both of them, nothing like it. Yeah. Any questions? Any more questions? Well, as the legal language says, no news is good news. So I take it that no more questions here.
Hi, I have a question.
Okay, good. Yes,
I
please.
typed it in the chat, but I'm not sure if it popped up in your screen. But my question is that, like, similar to how procurement is a separate department in supply chain management, is there also a separate department existing for research and development in order to stay updated with the emerging logistical and technological advances in the market, or is it cost efficient to be outsourcing this kind of information?
A good question. Thank you, Mr. Said. So typically, there would be a department called performance department, performance development or performance department. They would be managing not only procurement department, but the performance of various departments. How long does it take to convert a requisition into a purchase order? For example, one of the organizations I was working, the cost of one purchase order was 450 dirhams. So whenever we used to raise a purchase order for 500, the vice president used to call us and whack us up saying, what not? You know, why are we raising purchase orders for 500 dirhams? Because the cost of a purchase order, the administrative cost of a purchase order was 450. This I'm talking of 16 years back. In my last organization, it was 1500 riyals. So anything less than 1500 riyals, if you're raising a purchase order, you know, it is not feasible, but it's an administrative cost for the department. Imagine the number of purchase orders less than 1500 per month that are being raised. So that amount of money is being wasted. This sort of study is done by the performance department, who look into the all elements. How many people are involved in raising that requisition? How many approvers are there? How much time did they take? What is their salary? And how much cost did we incur into it? Similarly, these departments, they also monitor what is happening on the category front. Category front in the sense, how is the steel price working worldwide and what are our contracts doing? No, this is not an audit department, but a performance department which manages the PPIs and CPIs worldwide. They look at the logistics cost. Today, I'll tell you, there are certain organizations in Qatar, to avoid the headache, they place an order on CFR basis. CFR basis, when we say, you must be aware, saying it is delivered to Doha seaport. But that contract was entered at a time when the cost of sea freight was 5,500 riyals per container. Whereas now, when you look at the current scenario, it is around 850 riyals per container. So by not changing the terms, they are incurring a loss. So these sort of elements or risks should be definitely looked at by the individual independent departments, actually. That happens. So they look at the cost of manufacturing, the cost of the administration, they look at the CPIs, PPIs, what orders are placed, plus the logistics cost, the warehousing cost. Let's not forget the warehousing. There is a dead stock sitting on there from years together. And the inventory is not depreciated. When the inventory is not depreciated, that's the right cost which is sitting on your shelves. Of course, the CFO will get annoyed when the details are known to it. There are slow moving stocks. There are duplicates. You know, when we look at just a small pen, it would say pen blue, blue pen, blue ball pen, gel pen blue. You know, these sort of nomenclatures do exist when there are no standards. Thereby, it triggers the duplicates in the warehousing inventory system as well. So constant optimizing is required. There are individual departments, or if you're talking of a third party, yes, there are consultants who can do it as well. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See, your question is it cost effective to outsource this? Yes, it is cost effective to outsource it. As I told you, I just started my own consultancy. So this is an opportunity for me to promote it. It's called Chain Optima Solutions. This is optimizing the supply chain. So we look at it from a cost perspective, from the process perspective, from the inventory perspective, from the logistics perspective, and whatnot. Don't look at the website. It is still under construction. So in 3 days, I'm going to release the website. Because the company had just registered in the US. At yes, we'll be starting operations in Doha very soon. But do remember, Chain Optima Solutions. It can support you in negotiations, contract management, tendering, policies, everything. So yeah, it's going to be cost effective because I know you will come and negotiate with me. So don't worry about it. Yeah, any more questions, please?
Yes, I have a question. So
Yes, please.
I would love to add some kind of internship experience if it's available in
Please.
supply chain.
Yeah. Yes.
So are you aware of, or can you rather suggest any good companies that I can apply?
For the internship,
Yes.
when you're looking for internship, what sort of a role are you looking at?
Well, I want to add some experience in supply chain, if it's possible, because I am a business student, and I complete my bachelor's in May, but
Okay.
my graduation is not up until September, so I have some time, and I was looking into some supply chain options.
There are organizations who are giving the internships. Definitely for the summer internship, they do have it. You have my email ID, I think, @yahoo.com or chainoptima.com. You can write to me.
Okay.
I will put you in touch with some of those guys who can provide you with the internship.
Perfect. That's lovely. Thank you so much.
Welcome. It's 8:45. So do we conclude? All righty. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience and all. Yeah, truly appreciate it, Mr. Fraz.
Yeah, I wanted to meet you. I think I met you one time in 2009.
Possibly, yeah.
One of the sustainability.
Oh yes, with the 𝗫𝗏𝗃𝗃 we did it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long session. Done. No more questions, they said. So okay, sure. Yeah, I think thank you to the crowd who is online as well. Truly appreciate your presence, and you're asking questions. That's what it keeps me motivated as well. So let's stay in touch. Thank you. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much. Great pleasure.
He's going to give you some information of the certifications.
Right. Shai?
Just a busy another 7 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, just 10 minutes. So guys, thank you for coming here. I'm sure you have got a lot of insight from the Dr. Rao, and definitely, it will inspire you to, keep learning and keep growing. As you know, this field, supply chain, is very highly competitive, and there are numerous candidates out there, and it's very difficult to stand out. If you see, there are multiple positions in this supply chain area. So we, as a Green Institute, we provide training for CPP, CPPM, and I will be the trainer. We have already started it with just one lecture about the introduction, and as I told you, there will be numerous candidates, and if you want to stand out, and if you want to
showcase to the recruiter that you have an eagerness to grow, an eagerness to, to the learning. This certification will show the recruiters and the companies that yes, you are willing to learn. And there are multiple other certification. As Mr. Rao said, the CIPS. I'm myself a CIPS diploma holder, and it takes a lot of what do you say? You need to give in time, efforts, and most importantly, you should have the passion for learning. And you should take it as more interesting, more practical approach rather than just going in a bookish way. So if you guys want to stand out, and if you guys, maybe some of you may have got the certification, or maybe you are going into some other certification like CSCP, or maybe you are going for CIPS. Actually, we have already applied for the CIPS training, and we will be starting very soon. But in case if you are currently wish to enroll for the CPP and CPPM certification, which is a very recognized certification from the American Purchasing Professionals, which is an elite member of the purchasing professional. And this certification is a globally recognized certification, which can, I'm not going to tell that this is going to land you a dream job. Definitely, any recruiters will, the first thing they will see is what skills you have acquired, what experiences you have acquired. However, this will give a badge that you are a continuously learner and you are eager to learn. So basically, this CPP, CPPM will cover the complete purchasing cycle, and it will delve into each and every elements of the purchasing cycle, starting from the understanding the need, making strategies, market study, and what are the purchasing methods, and dwell more into commercial negotiation, how the commercial negotiation actually has to be taken. So basically, it is one of the ideal a kind of a guideline to help you learn. And there may be you all, many of you must be a purchasing professional or a supply chain professional, and the things that you do normally, that these learnings will help you understand how you are going to improve in that same particular thing which you do it every day, and that will help you improve in your work to gain more skills and grow in future. So if you guys are interested, we already have started the batch, and this Friday will be the second class. And myself, I have multiple years of experience in various categories, in various companies, in a procurement department. And I would not say I have given my sweat and blood, but definitely I have given my sweat to the supply chain in my career. And I have a great passion to teach the people who are willing to learn the actual practical way of, and the ideal way of doing the best way of doing the procurement function. So if you guys have any questions, or if anything you want to ask me, you can ask me. And I hope some of you would be willing to join this CPP, CPPM class. And I hope in very soon we will also go for the CIPS training. Okay, guys. So thank you for your time. If any questions you have, you can ask me. Sorry. You can just enroll and you can join the class. So basically, the CPP, CPPM certification, it is the stage starts like you join the classes. You will take around, it will take around 7 classes. Each class will be around 3 hours. So it is around, say, 21 hours of the learning. Once you take the learning, you take the exam. The exam will be based on whatever the learning you do, and it is something not like you really need to mug it up. And whatever the exam you take, maybe it can be a paper based or maybe it can be PC based. The answers will be submitted directly to the American purchasing professionals, and the certification will come directly from them to you. So they check only your basic understanding, and it doesn't take like you don't need to mug up anything, or you understand the basic concept, and for sure you will get the certification. We will ensure that you get the certification. And regarding the CIPS, yeah, maybe in a month or two, we may start the CIPS training as well. Okay, guys, so that's it. Fine. Thank you. Thank you for your time.